Hello, I'm RedRobot, and this is Grimstone. I am joined by Scousin, Spooty, Paul Hubans, and Derek Yu. Welcome, everyone.
Hi.
Hi,
Hello.
great to be here. I'm very excited to see how you're gonna beat this game so fast.
Yeah,
Yeah, glad to
likewise.
have all you guys here. Okay, before we can even start the game or even start talking about the game, I need a vacation, and we're gonna go take a trip to Planet Zoldath. So there's a terminal code for Planet Zoldath that allows you to pick a seed. So, for example, this opens like this. If I reset and I do the same seed, opens the same way. There's a very interesting quirk about Grimstone's randomness. It doesn't set a seed at all when you boot up the game. So if I, from this position in Zoldath, go and boot up Grimstone, it will be as if I had inputted that seed into Grimstone. So basically, I can have the RNG of Grimstone be exactly the same every single time using Planet Zoldath. And that's what we'll do. So as for the actual like movements and combat, it's going to be really precise. I have to do the exact same thing every single time. We'll get into the more specifics of that later. But I think I'm pretty much ready to begin. It will reset. Got the specific seed set up, and I'm ready to count down for time. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, before we actually talk about the story and all of that, we are going to pick up some very specific party members. These are needed in order to succeed with the run. We're picking up Anne, Lee, Umbra, and Maria. But that's not going to be their names. We had a donation incentive.
Yeah, the winner
And
was Party House names. So I'm going to name them after specific Party House members. So we're doing Dancer for Anne since she's a dancer. We are going to do Spy for Lee. Not a lot of options since his name is so short, but it honestly fits. Genie for Umbra, Spellcaster, so it definitely fits quite well. And Gangster for Maria since she's our outlaw.
And right off the bat, if you have peeked the speedrun.com leaderboards for Grimstone and seen RedRobot's record run, which is also an RNG manipulation route, you may notice something's a little off. Where's Bull, or All, as the community often knows him as? This is actually a new route that I believe I don't think RedRobot's publicly shown this off yet. So
First time anyone's seeing it besides Scouser?
yeah, so you are. This is a world debut of the new Grimstone route. I haven't even seen this. I'm going in blind. I don't know what to expect. And yeah, all I have is I've my track record is doing the gift route, and I have the record on that. But the full game route, that's a whole nother beast entirely. And now it's a completely new one.
yes. And
This
so
is
the,
crazy, by the way. Sorry,
oh,
I'm like
the best is
silent, but
yet to
I've got
come.
a smile on my face.
So the big difference kind of that Spooty has identified is, yeah, we don't have Bull. Bull's a great character in Grimstone. Bull has a lot of power, he has a lot of skill, and most importantly, he's just awesome. However, Lee has a little special something that we won't spoil that we're going to see as the run goes on much later. So to start off, we are going to actually go straight to the guano mine. William Mule gathered 7 different heroes together, and fire burned down. Angel saved us, so we're just going to go into the mines. You might notice that Robot is walking in sometimes peculiar ways. You saw a little loop-de-loop there. That's part of the RNG manipulation. RNG moves forward every single step of the game, and if Robot takes even one step off or too many, then the entire route is broken. Now, this is actually a safe run because one, Robot has lots of backup saves, and two, the game only saves every time we go to a town, leave a town, or take a hotel nap. So we can just go back to anytime we need to by just going back to Zoldath and coming back here. Now, as we go into the first fight, Robot does actually need silence, and we're going to talk about why after the fight.
Basically having a magic spell with the combat here. Defend, attack, heal, attack. Defend, attack, defend, attack. Miss, attack, attack, attack. Turn 4, defend, defend, heal, attack. Turn 5, defend, 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 attack. Turn 6, defend, miss, heal, gangster here, and attack. Yeah. Miss with spy. Name's throwing me off so hard, I'll be honest. Turn 7, defend, defend, attack, defend. Defend, miss, defend, defend. Da. Do it again. Defend, miss, miss, attack, and then Anne will die. And then defend, defend, attack. And that is big help defeated at level 1.
At level 1, well done, Robot. So what was Robot doing? So it turns out that there's a lot of things in Grimstone that move the RNG forward. It's in a linear direction, but they move RNG forward in different amounts. So when someone defends, it moves RNG forward. When someone attacks, it moves RNG forward. When someone misses, it moves RNG forward. However, they move RNG forward in different amounts, which means in order to get the desired results, killing the boss, hitting the boss, not losing our heroes, or only losing the ones we want to lose, that requires very careful precision. And RedRobot has mapped all this out through dedicated trial and error and just working to find out the exact combination to do what he wants within reasonable time to get the results he wants. So this is all completely mapped out. And if RedRobot does one thing wrong, if he misses an attack that he shouldn't, if he puts in the wrong command even once in that entire fight, the entire system breaks. The RNG doesn't work anymore. He's probably going to get destroyed by the boss, and he will have to load from the previous save point.
Okay,
So
when I heal at a hotel here, it saves the game, and that allows me to reset the RNG back to TROT-TERS. So basically, we have a true save point. So if I mess up again, I could come back to this exact point.
And to add to the comments about like one wrong action during combat can ruin the RNG route, it's actually worse than that. I'm speaking from experience here. So a lot of skills, we didn't really have any, we just had basic attacks there. But a lot of skills like Umbra's Fang skill or items like lassos, when they hit enemies, if you watch the enemy sprite, you'll see it jitter around a little bit, almost like it's jumping around randomly. And yes, it is jittering around randomly, and it is using the RNG call, the same RNG call. And if you mash too hard and pull up the next action while that jitter is still happening, the RNG calls for your action essentially intercept the RNG calls that were going to be for the jitter, and you break the RNG route. So you have to make sure you're not going too fast in a speedrun. It's terrible.
Fix my party order.
You need to fix it. Yeah, I was about to say party order.
And here's I don't really need silence during this fight. It's super simple. We're just gonna pilfer this guy's weapon.
And of course, pilfering is also RNG dependent.
Which means, not actually random for us here, of course.
Yeah. Help us a lot in the next dungeon.
Absolutely. And also, by the way, a lot of this run, you're going to see defend, attack, defend. It just so happens that Dada is just the command that works out the most for a robot, because we don't really want Anne or Umbra to attack because they're spellcasters. We want Maria and Lee attack because they're damage dealers. So you're going to see a lot of defend, attack, defend. attack, and we're going to see Howl here. Now, Howl, you might say Fang's better. I'm a Fang enjoyer, but Howl likes to stack, and it just works out that Howl is a right move for this run. We're going to be doing a lot of howling, and yes, heal. We did acquire heal. Heal also uses RNG, and that will not only be useful for healing, but actually modifying the RNG to benefit us.
See, coming from the gift run, the take of Howl is a huge surprise to me because the gift route is completely dependent on Umbra using Fang to kill Zafan quickly. Fang gives you access to such a huge burst damage source for this point in the game. So to go for Howl, which I believe is just a single target attack buff, that kind of needs some time to really spin up. It's surprising, but also makes sense in the context of RNG Minute to me.
May I ask a question to the devs?
Go for it. Good.
Did you guys have any idea that this would be possible?
No, not at all. And I absolutely love that Planet Zoldath is involved in that. Pilot has basically caused a disturbance in the multiverse here and affected Grimstone. That's so great.
It's actually kind of funny because before I even learned that Robot was doing this, I thought to myself, I wonder if UFO 50 uses a global RNG value, and it just so happens that it just willed itself into existence, and here's a battle for Robot.
It turns out there's actually a lot of games you can use for RNG manip. There's lots of games that set the seeds to specific values, and you could also theoretically use them for RNG manip, but it's just that TROT-TERS essentially allows you to hand select one just because there's that seed entry screen at the beginning. But I remember that I think camouflage sets the RNG seed to a fixed value at the start, so if you just boot up camouflage and go back to Grimstone and move the same way, you'll see the same thing every time.
Absolutely.
Okay, defend, attack, low. Defend, attack, low. I believe we are on turn 4. Is that right, Scousin?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, right, sorry.
Turn 5. We run it back. Defend, attack, low. Defend, attack, low. Turn 6. It's the Dada, everyone's favorite. And you guys can speak again. It's just a dad to finish it off.
Yes. So something else that everyone might be noticing is, where are the crits? Where are the crits? Well, crits are fine. Crits are better than fine if you're playing Grimstone casually, but Robot wants consistency. This run is designed for consistency. We are going to do everything the same way every time. We don't want anything to change. We just, want everything to be the same. And going for crits does two things. One, it gives you a much higher chance of missing. And if you miss, once again, you're off RNG route and we crash and burn. And also, if you crit an enemy and they die early, then we would have to figure out a way to get back on RNG route because we ended it too early. We don't want to do that. There are no crits this run. There will never be a crit, and hopefully there will be no accidental crits or accidental misses, or even worse, accidental hits.
And to elaborate on that, it's not that crits are inherently bad. In fact, if you want to go full task level optimization and really just make this route the fastest it could be,
it would be
you
all
would
crits.
probably hitting crits all the time, but you would have to do everything differently.
I pride myself in hitting
entirely...
crits, but I could not hit 100 crits in a row or whatever you would have to hit for this
exactly.
run.
And speaking of hitting 100 crits in a row, something that Robot told me is that on the original route that used Bull instead of Lee, the final boss involved getting mine and getting a Obsidian very easily because we manipulate RNG to get a Obsidian, of course. And then we can get the Calamity, the best rifle in the game. But that involves about 13 crits in a row on the final boss. And I can't do that. I'm not doing that.
It's with the focus band, so it makes it easier. But anyway, into the Lasher fight. This is one of the most complicated things in the run, is when you have to do what's coming up. It's a miss and attack on the same turn. Miss, then attack. very hard to keep that all straight. Defend, root beer on Umbra, attack, attack. Attack, study, howl, attack. The study's actually gonna fail, but RNG minute. We're gonna miss attack, howl, attack. Turn 5, defend, defend, attack, attack. Fight's a lot more straightforward from here. Turn 6, defend, attack, defend, attack. The lower health an enemy gets, the harder it is for them to break out of a lasso, so fights actually get cleaner the farther they go in for the lasso fights like this. Turn 7, defend, defend, attack. Correct. And we run it back for turn 8. Turn 9 is Umbra attacks. Defend actual study, defend attack. And we get multi-hit, which is going to be incredible for the multi-enemy encounters.
Excellent. Great job. Another early boss kill. And yeah, we did study earlier in that fight to deliberately fail, and then we succeeded later. And yes, study's going to be great. And what's interesting about RedRobot's routing of this run is it's kind of a marriage between, hey, we want to do things to get the right RNG, but we also want RNG to work so that the things that are powerful we get to do. So you're going to see Maria doing a lot of attacking because Maria is an amazing damage dealer. And a lot of the RNG is making sure that she lands her hits. And so you're going to see basically, like on that last fight, all attacks. Maria attacked every single
turn.
Maria to hit.
It's the highest priority because she's getting the howls pumped into her, so her damage goes up a lot. We're selling her gun and we're selling Umbra's dagger, but we're not going to sell this emerald.
Yes,
the money in this run is really tight. We buy lasso.
Yeah, there's no room for money in this game other than what you
we actually go down to exactly 5 teeth in a second here.
You may have noticed at the start of the Lasher fight when RedRobot threw out that lasso, we saw what I was talking about. He waited very long on that text box just to make absolutely sure that random jitter did not interfere with the RNG minimum.
Shout out to Zoldath.
Yeah, we hit another save point, so I can make a mistake and go right back there. So I'm feeling chill for a moment.
I can see why Rufus isn't involved in this run.
Yeah,
actually,
I have a question. We have a question about Rufus, right?
I do have a question about Rufus, but I actually want to mention something else while I'm remembering it. At one point in this run, I was thinking of having Lee learn the Fury skill, which causes him to become Rufus, essentially. But it's really, really impossible to pull off in real time because it causes smoke to puff on their heads, and that is random. So it would cause every fight to have to be like even the decision making on like the menuing to be perfect.
Good lord, you've got to count smoke puffs before you execute.
That would be miserable.
And by the way, fun Grimstone lore, the town of Heston has been overrun by demons. We never went to Heston. I'm sure they'll be fine.
Heston, they'll be fine. It's actually crazy to skip that because in the regular speed run, the Zophon fight is like the biggest source of XP and is super important. But we don't really need XP.
Absolutely.
Okay, go for the Rufus question.
So the Rufus question, the big question. So, Paul, Derek, kind of a two-part question. First is, were there any challenges with regards to balancing these characters? Because we know that they have very different specialties, different ways of acquiring powers, and also, why isn't Rufus very good?
That's probably the answer. He worked more on the technical side of this game.
I think when it comes to balance, I tend to be more excited when there are characters that are, seemingly seem worse than the other characters, because then I think you get people who actually want to challenge themselves using it. And, you know, Rufus has got the like infinite dog treat thing at the very end, and so
Oh yeah,
that was kind of his buff in a way.
I actually used that.
Yeah, but I think he has his uses too as an early party member. You know, one thing is just not having to think about a party member. I see that as a benefit for Rufus, just like not having to worry about one, as a bit of a like a psychological relief for the player. So it's not like good in the normal sense, but I actually do think of that as a benefit of Rufus.
Yeah, that's
I
very fair.
agree.
Also, we just paid off old Ned's debt despite not knowing who in the world he is.
Yes, and that's another benefit of Maria. Not only is Maria an excellent damage dealer, and not only does Maria
Oh, and
have a
also
link to
5
Rail
teeth.
Heist, but also
Exactly 5 teeth.
Maria can pay off the debt cheaper, and we will be buying coffee, which you can only do at that point in the game with Maria in the party. And speaking of Maria, so Derek and Paul, Rail Heist is, you know, kind of a lighthearted game, but it's also mostly grounded in reality, other than some arcade.
Okay, I'm going to
mechanics.
interrupt you real quick. This is the most important
Sure.
part of the run. We've just hit another checkpoint, and we're going to get the best trotters of all time.
Oh yeah,
Oh
let's
yes,
go. Here it
That's
comes.
Trotters.
069.
69. Nice.
I had to fit it somewhere, and I had to try this particular section a lot of times, so I had a lot of opportunities to try different trotter seeds.
Convo Breaker, I see your message in chat. We are not kidding you. 069000.
Oh no. What
Sorry.
happened? I
What did
exited
happen?
too early. I was like really
Oh
close to getting that. That's
no.
so unfortunate. We have to do that section again.
Okay, we have to do that section.
That
again
must have
if you
been
want
like
to.
frames away from the game saving.
Okay,
Oh,
no
I
problem.
know
That
the
is so
pain.
unfortunate. That's fine. That's fine.
I can't tell you how many times I've reset the game too early on reset points in Warp Tank. It happens.
When we say that the RNG in Grimstone is fragile, we mean it's fragile.
Yeah, on the plus side, this does
Wow.
mean we get more
Yeah.
06900.
That
get
and
more
also you can go back to
06900.
the question you were asking before I interrupted you.
That's right. So Derek and Paul, Rail Heist is mostly grounded in reality. There's some arcadey aspects, there's power-ups, but it's mostly grounded in reality, whereas Grimstone is a Western JRPG fantasy game about warring between angels, demons, and humans. What was kind of the thought process behind linking these two games together? Because Maria's a character that you can even play as in Rail Heist, and she's a potential playable character in Grimstone. I was just curious how these games link up, other than, hey, two cowboy games, let's just put them together.
I would say just in general, as we were working on UFO 50 from beginning to end, we're kind of always looking for connections between the games. And, you know, I think those connections can feel kind of abstract sometimes. I was just talking to Eric about this actually, and because we're kind of debating actually how much we want to reveal or not reveal about details about these kinds of things. I think in general we kind of lean towards just leaving things that are unexplained. But I'll just say, yeah, I think just to give like insight into the process of making these kinds of connections, I would just say we're always kind of like on the lookout for links between the games as we were working on them. And some of them are more pre-planned than others. Some of them, like a lot of them, are just kind of like as we're going, we're kind of seeing these similarities between games. And it can be thematic or it can be mechanical. Kind of depends, or a mix. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's something that we like talking about, is like, how are these games actually linked? Like what enemies are like connections between the games, and what games take place in the same universe. It's a fun thing we all like doing it, you know, in downtime.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think a big part of the fun for us is seeing people make those connections. So yeah, we love that. We love to see that.
Yeah, Derek and Eric are really big on the ambiguity, but if you start pumping me for information, I'll spill all the tea.
Yes.
Much to Derek's chagrin. So-
We are still trying to figure out what the story is with the Divers Green Room, but that's Eric's
That's for
baby, and
that's another
I,
story for another
I
time.
I think we've all pretty much accepted that we will never know all of the secrets of this game, and you know what? That's kind of the beautiful thing about any piece of work. The story doesn't end if you don't get to the end of it, and I feel like we'll never get to the end of the UFO 50, and that's a very beautiful thing.
Great way.
I'm
to
actually
keep it.
only here to keep Paul from spilling the tea. That's like the only reason why I'm on commentary right now.
I mean, my
Thank you
theory
for
for
the save
divers,
icon.
the
Okay,
He's got a
divers
there you
smart
green
go.
room
collar on
theory
me.
from the divers green room theory for me is just that it's cut content that you guys just left in so we would make endless guesses about what it's there for. And
Paul,
that's my
I
theory,
will
and I'm
be
sticking with
emailing
it.
you later.
Paul's inbox is gonna explode
Yeah.
after this.
You just told us, Paul, that we can get answers from you.
I know. I've taken a
Everyone
vow of
wants answers.
silence.
All right.
You know that solo dev room with the lock on it? That's not just part of the lore. That's a place that Derek will put me if I.
Okay, here's Possum. This is actually
Well,
the
now we
entire
know.
reason the entire reason Anne is in the party is just so that this fight is available. And Maria can steal the Peacemaker from him.
Yeah, we're already caught back up from the slight mishap there. It's actually faster than I for a second I forgot that you did a save point after the Black Prison and thought we were gonna have to do Black Prison again.
Oh, that would be such a pain.
But no, yeah, that was just the walking to the cave and paying off the debt and then coming back out here. So yeah, we're just gonna be stealing a few Peacemakers from Possum because Possum has it available as a rare steal. Which of course, getting the rare steal is
Nothing's rare to
manipulable.
me.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's a huge power spike this early in the game. So we're just gonna outfit the whole crew with some Peacemakers.
Yes.
Yeah, the old route
exactly.
actually
Best
had
pistol in the game.
trotter resets between each of these, but I figured I'd just finally link it up all in one continuous section.
I mentioned this
But
in the
more
chat, but
Zobat.
I think Trotter is a really interesting just synchronicity for a game that has a lot of horses in it. You know.
It's true.
Fair.
It's true.
Because they trot.
they
Because
do.
they try. Absolutely.
So how
we
much
got-
trial and error was involved to figure out?
We'll
this
get to that in a
route?
second. Let me do this fight.
Okay.
Attack, defend, the lasso attack. Yeah, attack. Second guess myself for a second. Everyone attacks. Also, if you'll notice me moving my head constantly to look at my second monitor for my notes. I've actually hurt my neck slightly playing this run. Just looking back and forth way too much. Ma'am. Attack, two-step, miss. Miss on gangster. Defend, attack, pilfer. Then go for the kill. Okay, yeah. So in terms of the way I actually constructed this route, the first way I figured out about RNG manipulation was from running Valve Race. In that game, if you get really consistent at the first floor, you'll notice things start happening the same way. Because in that game, the RNG seed is set to the same thing in its own game. So I figured out that, and then I looked for other games, and I noticed Grimstone. I wanted to route it, but there was no way to route it without some kind of save state. But luckily, there's a thing called Coffee Tools. Shout out to the developer of Coffee Tools. There's no way on earth I would ever be able to develop this run without it, because there was so much trial and error involved.
Absolutely. And we're now finally going to sell that emerald. And the reason that wasn't sold earlier was because we just didn't need the money. And as you saw, we got beat up quite a bit. Possum is mean and stole money, just like most JRPGs out there. You lose money when you die, so we just saved the emerald for later. Because again, the money route for this is extremely precise.
Get on my way, dog. Put the free money there. And
Well,
annoyingly, I have to go back into the saloon to buy the root beers because I didn't have the money when I was in there a second ago.
Yes. And we're currently off the RNG route at this point because we're going to trotters in a moment. And it's an interesting thing because anything in this game that uses RNG also moves RNG forward, with one exception that I'm aware of, and that's movement in town.
No. Movement in towns does advance RNG. It's just that
It does,
there's nothing
exactly.
going on here. Like, it's just the NPC movement. So
Right.
as long as I
that
reset
was the
afterwards,
NPC
it's fine.
movement.
I was
Yeah.
about to express my concern that there was a dog in a spot you weren't
Yeah.
expecting, because that would mean the RNG routes off. But yeah, if there's just going to be another Trotters here, then that's fine.
Back to Zoldath. Haha.
There's a Lath break, and I need to remember to revive Umbra when I respawn.
I just want to emphasize for a moment, this run wouldn't be possible without Planet Zoldath, and you can't say that for
No,
any
it would
other
be.
one.
I'd just use a different game, but
I'm
Trotters works out
shaking my
pretty well.
fist, robot. The illusion's ruined.
Okay.
Can I read out some donations real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. We've got one from Awesome514 for $3.94, and they say, "Rest in peace, Pull." I'm not actually quite sure what that one means. We've got another one from Psy Guy, fan of Rail Heist, for $10, and they say, "Rail Heist goes in every field." We've got one last one from Keeney for $1, which reads, "Rail Heist mention interrupted with a little sad face." And that's all we've got for now.
It was
Alright,
interrupted for a
excellent.
good cause. Okay, we're about to go into another fight. I need to fix my
Yes.
ordering. That is correct. Heal one time and fight the evil priest.
I'm sure Umbra will be fine.
Yeah, one heal's enough. Lasso back. Oh, this turn is so satisfying. Gust, attack. Careful on the lasso. Then good old Genie takes out 3 imps here. Once again, these names confuse me so hard. I've not done any runs with anything but the default names since the last route. Lasso, attack, howl, attack. And that turn is so good, I will do it again. Okay, we're on turn 4. Attack, defend, attack. Also, this fight would not be even remotely possible if we didn't steal those peacemakers. Like, we would be way too far behind at this point in the game. Turn 5 is defend, attack, defend, attack. Turn 6 is 2-step, attack, defend, attack. And last turn, we're going for the kill. And I actually had a crazy bug happen on this one, so I'm going to be really careful with spamming through this. One time I had the imp just interrupt my turn, hit me. No idea why.
Which is supposed to be impossible because Grimstone is coded in such a way that if one person on your team gets a turn, everyone gets a turn. But somehow, for the first time ever, the imp actually acted between party members. That's never happened before.
Very spooky.
Well, we did put a lot of like demonic sigils in this game, so I mean,
There are a
Oh,
lot
that
of
makes
demonic
sense.
sigils. There's one right there.
There's actually an
Oh,
ambush tile in front of this, so if you just grab it from the side, you can completely sidestep it. So we don't have to do that
And-
combat.
By the way, as Spooty mentioned, yeah, the shaking animation is random. It moves RNG forward. It uses RNG. And so there is some care that RedRobot needs to take with the shaking in this game, because if you act on things too quickly or interrupt them in the wrong way, it can ruin RNG. And we're going to be seeing that a little more later on when going over some poison ground. But
Yeah, also, this
right
is
now,
the part of the run we don't have horses, because Rio just doesn't have a stable, so we just have to walk around a little.
yes.
And from my own experiences, like if you break the RNG route to like the stutter RNG, it's not always immediately obvious that it's happened. Like whenever I would lose a gift run to messing up and inputting a command during the shaking, everything would still work up until like 5 turns later. Like the root beer would just heal the wrong amount of SP. And
You would not
I
believe how much of a headache it was to figure out that the lassos were causing that.
So coming up here, RedRobot is finally going to be buying some coffee here. He's going to be buying 5 coffees. That's as much coffee as we need. Don't drink 5 coffees in a row. We're not drinking 5 coffees in a row. We're going to stagger them throughout the run.
Also, the old route, you would get an extra peacemaker just to get more money, and you would sell it and buy more coffees, but you don't need as many coffees anymore. Oh, also,
Oh.
this enemy, or not enemy, this animal coming up that we're going to learn a spell from, technically should be optional in an RNG manipulator run, but it makes it way easier to route when you have camouflage, which will make the enemies spawn less.
Yes, camouflage.
Also, you can
enemies
step
and-
inside of this rock for some reason.
And that box up there. Paul
Please don't
and
fix any bugs
Derek.
in this game.
I'll blame
Anyway,
that one on Paul.
that's our first camouflage.
Are there any instances of cut content in Grimstone that you'd like us to know about?
Well, I'm sure this is okay to talk about, Derek, but like initially I based all of this off of actual like real demon names and stuff, and like actual pulled a lot of themes from like actual theology and stuff, and I think we ultimately decided that might be just a little too rooted in the real world to want to mess with that, so a lot of that stuff got changed, but I think that was really it. I don't know if Derek wants to add to that or anything.
You actually had a huge design document.
Yeah, 100
written
pages.
about the game. So I mean, the way the development of the game went was I had this basic idea of cowboys in hell, which I'd been carrying around for a long time, and I tried to make a game about like way back when, never got anywhere. Even tried to make a comic book, and then when the opportunity came up to put it into UFO 50, I thought it'd be cool as an RPG. But I basically gave like a very basic idea to Paul, and he wrote a very extensive design document. So there's quite a bit in that document that didn't make it into the game, but that's only because it was pretty dense. But I used that document to kind of build like a initial skeleton iteration of the game, which I then gave to Paul, and then he spent a lot of time fleshing out, building maps, and then he kind of gave it back to me, and I polished up the maps and did more implementation, and we went back and forth like that to develop the game.
Yeah, I remember you being really intimidated by like the size of my design docs, but like I'm really happy with like how faithful to those design docs this turned out to be, so I appreciate that you honored that, you know.
I really tried to be as faithful as I could, yeah, but you know, it's one of those things when you actually start implementing ideas and building the game, you usually find that things need to be streamlined, or you know, just to make things feel more cohesive as a game, just in practice once you start play testing. And so that's usually how
there we
it
go.
goes.
This combat was a massive pain to manipulate, because it's easy to manipulate a boss. It is not easy to manipulate 6 enemies at once. And we have a miss attack from Maria. Careful on these stupid lassos. Very slow. Miss attack. Okay, that's the hardest turnover. Attack, multi-hit, defend attack. And you guys are free from talking again. It's just attacks from here.
Awesome. Thank you, Derek and Paul. That's an excellent answer. And we have some folks in Twitch chat that want to know more about Valiant Cube. So as a lot of us know, there's a super boss in a small part of the map called the Valiant Cube. And most of us assume that it's a reference to Warmac, who's a super boss that exists as a random encounter in Final Fantasy I. Can you tell us more about the Valiant Cube?
You mean like lore-wise?
I mean, more the design. Like, I mean, lore-wise, what is it? It's a
I mean,
cube
if you
that
have
can
if you have
fly.
juicy lore, we'll take it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll take
What's the cube
anything
lore?
you can say about the cube.
Is it from Block Koala,
anything.
the evil black block or something?
Oh, I like that. Yeah. I kind of feel like that might have been a name first creation. You know, sometimes you just come up with just like a silly name, and that's the start of a design. I mean, ideas for stuff in UFO 50 can really just come from all over the place. I want to say that was a name first, just like the idea of just a violent geometric object just seemed funny. And you know, I think for like a super boss like that, what you want is something that does feel pretty mysterious. So that was probably where we came from with that.
I love
Yeah,
it. Awesome.
That actually wasn't in the design doc. I don't think. I think that was straight out of your dark and twisted psyche. So
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I kind of just want to comment, like, you know, going on about going back a bit to like how you originally had like a lot of like actual mythological demon names that all got cut out. That actually seems like a very accurate development path for games from the 80s and 90s, because there were so many adjustments and localizations, like in Nintendo games especially, to like scrub anything that could be considered a religious symbol in any way. So you guys really were faithful to the to the development process of the you know, the old retro 80s 90s games, and maybe you didn't even realize it.
yeah, actually, the Japanese version of Grimstone does have all the demon names in it. No, I'm just kidding.
so
Yeah, I mean, I
kind
think
of-
just from a creative perspective, it also just feels more fun to kind of have your own
Yeah.
mythologies and things like that as well. But it is interesting to think about, I think, with the UFO 50, and you know, I think as we're developing these games, and you know, clearly we're inspired by the games of our youth and from the past and things like that. I don't know. I think it's just fun to think about the way that inspiration kind of worked with us. I guess what's interesting to me is I feel like we did unconsciously, I think, follow patterns of development from the 80s and the 90s, early 90s, just trying to make games in this way. So a lot of the stuff, it wasn't like, yeah, we're
Also, I'm
directly
gonna interrupt you real
trying
quick.
oh yeah, no,
This explosion
of
is very dangerous. Do not touch it. Just kidding. It's just random, so we have to wait for it to explode all the way, or else entire randomness will get thrown off. Okay, continue.
Oh, you're saying like if you start moving.
Yeah, if I
before the
started moving,
explosion-
there would still be random rolls going on from the explosion, so I'd throw
it
everything
would
off.
blow up the RNG.
Exactly.
I love
Yeah, no, it's
when
fine. I
that
think
design
that
process.
thought I have to contemplate it a bit more. But
Yeah,
I just think that, you know, in trying to make this many games, I think we did unconsciously like fall into patterns that they probably fell into in the 80s making those games also, that we're inspired by, that we played as kids.
yeah, I definitely would agree with that. I feel like this game is probably the biggest, like after Night Manor. This is one that I probably worked the most on after Night Manor, and I definitely am from the school of the classic RPGs. I played Dragon Quest when it first came out in the US, and the first Final Fantasy, so I'm very this felt like a really good fit and a joy to work on for me, so I really enjoyed contributing to it, you know, with the content and stuff.
Love to hear it, yes, because you know, a lot of us, myself included, I grew up playing NES games, you know, Final Fantasy 1 and Dragon Quest 1, 2, 3, 4. So a lot of us, you know, this appeals to our retro vibes, but I also feel like, you know, the fingerprints of the generation are all over UFO 50, and that's something that appeals to all of us. So we see it, we feel it, and we appreciate it.
What really threw me off guard though was the Western theme, because that was like a huge blind spot for me. I actually had to study a lot of things with that era and that time, and I tried to be as accurate as I could when like incorporating, you know, the themes and the I guess the set designs for towns and stuff like that. I was even trying to use like dialect from that time. I think in the design doc I referred to somebody as a curly wolf, which was like a phrase to call like a rascal back then, but I don't think that made it in the game because maybe it was just
Oh,
too...
it totally did.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah, because I remember that phrase in particular, and I just remember really liking it.
Oh, cool.
I think that was part of a longer dialogue. One thing was that in Paul's original design document is that there was quite a bit of dialogue. And so one thing that I had to do was like pick out parts of the dialogue that I felt like really captured the spirit of what was being said. And I specifically remember that curly wolf line and wanting to keep that and preserve it once I was working on like the final game.
Love to hear. I love hearing like what actually makes it through to the final game, because you know we all have those like brief waves of inspiration, and I feel like inspired content, making inspired works of art, that's what really leaves an impression on people. And again, we all see it in UFO 50. We see the inspiration in every single one of these games. So thank you.
That's great. Thank you. I mean, you know, throughout this event, we just seeing the care that people have put into playing the games, it really means everything to us. So yeah, we're so happy. I mean, I feel so lucky to just be sitting here watching this run.
Yeah.
It's really something else.
I think
It's an
I've
honor
said
to
it,
have you guys
Feeling is
here.
mutual.
I think I've
So-
said it a few times, but this feels like the biggest payoff of UFO 50 for me personally is this event.
Oh, thank you. So we're gonna see you do some dark cherries later, right? Because we saw you talking in the mod chat, Paul.
Don't tell Derek about that.
Derek, make dark
I
cherries
could
an
have a
official
word
part of
with
UFO 50. I had to do it. I had to ask. I had to do it.
This was before he sat me down and told me not to say it. Sorry, Derek.
One thing I did want to add was that, you know, because you're talking about the development, and I think one thing that made UFO 50 really work is just that everybody on the team just had a lot of trust for everyone else. So, you know, just being able to pass something that you worked on to another team member and just kind of know that they're going to do their thing and not have to worry about that they're going to make it, you know, you're going to get it back better than you sent it off, I think was really key to making this work. And I always loved getting something back from Paul or John or Eric or Tyreek.
It was a nice development
And
process,
we're
too,
coming
with
up on a boss fight.
Yeah, we're coming up
here.
on a boss fight.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Root beer to Umbra.
Thank you for the feedback.
And then we fix
love
our ordering back to the
everything
original.
about these games.
That looks correct. And that's all we need to do beforehand. Is the Devil Horn to fight the Scoria Worm. Cha-Cha, Lasso, Howl, Attack. Also, that's the last town to purchase lassos, so we got a lot because they're really useful. Turn 2, use another lasso. Attack, Howl, Attack. Turn 3, attack, Howl, Attack. Turn 4, back to the lassos. Lasso, attack, defend, attack. Oh no, my defense is lowered. Turn 5, attack, defend, attack. Actually, fairly straightforward combat. Turn 6, it's a Dada, and Anne dies. She dies a lot in this run. Sorry, Anne. And finished off with an Ada. Also, something I'm not going to do very much in a marathon is you can speed up the cursor during the shooting sections.
I didn't even know that until RedRobot told me yesterday, and I was blown
Yeah,
away.
so like on top of the theoretical craziest RNG manipulation run using crits, it would also have max speed cursor the entire time. Which yeah, good luck doing that.
So to kind of do a recap for anyone who's done a casual playthrough of Grimstone, we didn't go to the ghost town. Thank you, Robot. I'm afraid of ghosts. I'm afraid of giant
Afraid of
birds.
birds.
We didn't get lost in the cavern maze. I'm afraid of crocodiles.
Pause.
Oh no. No.
Oh.
Okay. EMP.
May I read a donation real quick while we're paused? Oh wait, no, we're back.
Well, no one will hear.
All right. Are we back?
Are we back? Okay,
Okay,
cool.
perfect. So to recap, we didn't go to the ghost town. We didn't get lost in the maze. We didn't fight the giant bird of prey. Thank you, because I'm afraid of crocodiles, birds, and ghosts. So we skipped a lot of content that a lot of folks doing a casual playthrough will see.
We also didn't
And
unlock
we'll-
any of
oh,
the rails, like the train
Oh
stations.
yeah, I forgot that was part of the
Okay,
game. So we're in Lubbock. This is the last frontier of mankind, and this is technically not the last town you might see in a casual playthrough, but this is the last town we're really going to be exploring before we get into the final rung of, or two rungs of the game, so to speak. We will be going south to go to kind of the fantasy area, and there's actually an Easter egg there not everyone knows about. There's kind of a metal slime type enemy that gives a lot of experience, a mooncat. So I have to ask the question. We know that Mooncat is Eric's game, but Mooncat's here. I have to ask on behalf of the entire UFO 50 community, what is a mooncat? Because nobody knows.
Oh, we absolutely cannot talk about that, especially
Yeah,
while
of course.
Eric is sleeping. That would be like the greatest betrayal.
And luckily for them, I don't even know what that is. I don't know what a mooncat is.
Yeah, what's a mooncat?
So I can't email you later.
No.
Darn.
I'm afraid not. I just thought it was cool, so I decided like, hey, here's a good opportunity to have like a crossover type thing, and I did like exactly like you said. Metal slime is just a super rare enemy that's just really valuable and really hard to kill, and I like that idea, and I thought it fit well for that, and I thought, well, let's make it quirky, and you know.
We love
Also,
it.
I have a question
can
about the
probably
design
save
of
each
this
other.
area. To me, this always felt like it was very Mother inspired. It reminds me of like Magicant or Moonside or Taintain Island. Is that an actual inspiration, or am I just thinking that because I love those games?
This I think was inspired from like when I was reading a lot of like Carlos Castaneda books, which is like about psychedelic shamanism, which was really interesting stuff to like read about. And I was just like, yeah, I want to just have like this sort of psychedelic Western, because that's like a very rare, that was probably like my only experience with Westerns, was like the weird West kind of psychedelic stuff, you know, the spiritual worlds and stuff. So I as far as Earthbound goes, I had played it at this point. I think I actually didn't play Earthbound until like 2014, surprisingly, but maybe subconsciously there was. I wouldn't say there was, though. I'd say it was definitely more of that Carlos Castaneda stuff.
Awesome. Interesting.
And I'm really like, this is like one of my favorite areas, so I'm so happy that
This is absolutely my favorite area. I love it.
It's so cool.
I was kind of sad we skipped the ghost town though, because I really like that.
I do love the ghost town
I
as
like
well.
the ghost town, and I love hearing about some of Bull's backstory. I actually got a little emotional learning that something tragic happened in Bull's backstory, and it hurt him. It's just I like that trope. He has a rough exterior, but there's a softie in there.
Okay, coming up on a fight. Also, we skip Umbra's mom, who has a really strong item, but don't need it in this route. The old route used it though. 2 heals for Anne. 4 X root beers. They're thirsty. And go back to the original ordering because people keep dying. What are they doing? That is correct, and that is my checklist. Let's do it. It's actually a very short fight. Cha-Cha. This turn is frustratingly complicated for my notes. That is correct. It's miss, attack, attack the low target. Then we just attack the low target. The lower hand has less health, so we're going to focus it down and then ignore the top one. Defend, attack low, howl, attack the boss. Even though I sent Maria to attack the boss, she's actually going to kill the hand. You missed. Okay, very strange turn. 2 root beers. Another howl, and keep attacking the boss. Don't really need the mana that much, but it does allow us to cast 1 more Cha-Cha on turn 4. Attack back, defend, attack back. Turn 5, we're gonna miss, and then the other 2 attack the boss. And last turn, everyone attacks except for Umbra. Yeah, that should be it. There we go.
Great job. Excellent. And that's
Level
gonna
9
go
for
into
this part is so wild.
Use feather back home.
So here's kind of a peculiar part. I actually got a good laugh when Robot showed this to me.
Oh yeah,
So-
yeah. Watch this. Everyone's poisoned. I'm actually gonna go buy antidotes,
And then we're not going to use them.
and we're not gonna use them. They just get to sit there, dying to poison, staring at these antidotes they just purchased.
And yes, the damage from antidotes do affect RNG, and that's
'Cause
going to be
the vibration,
very
yeah.
important later.
Yeah, we're gonna get poisoned in a fight, and if I don't remember to immediately use antidotes afterward, it'll go bad. But in my notes, I have it written like a million times in the boldest text: "Use the antidotes. Use the antidotes." So I will not forget.
After this next Trotters, this is actually going to be the longest section in the entire run where Robot does not get to save, which means the stakes are kind of high. And again, this is a safe run. We can just go back to save point. He has backup saves, but in terms of losing time,
Yeah, this is the biggest
I don't wanna lose
potential
time.
time loss in the run.
So while RedRobot is setting up this RNG, Derek, you mentioned that you're going to be fixing that name bug. What are the odds that you're going to break the RNG and we're going to have to do this over from scratch?
I mean, that was actually a question, yeah, I had for you maybe, because I'm not.
I was able to.
No.
I was able to name them whatever I want, and it doesn't change anything. So it's not
Probably
as
gonna be
fragile
fine.
as maybe we've been saying. Because actually, I'm using some of the same movements as the old route, despite the fact that I have different party members, items, and whatnot. As long as I set the seed to what it was before and use the same movements up until like the combats, I can actually use some of the old route.
So
Right, I mean, there's
Well-
definitely no RNG involved in the naming part of the game.
that's what I expect, but I have to ask the question because, I'm not a game developer, but I have a little background in programming. I know that programs can be a little finicky, so you never know.
For sure, yeah. Well, we definitely made the conscious decision not to patch the game before Cherry Rush.
Oh, really? Thank you. We
Figured
actually
that could be a problem, yeah.
we joked about that. We joked about the possibility that we're gonna plan all this. Everyone's gonna plan the runs, and there will be a patch like the day before. We joked about that. So thank you. Actually, thank you. That does mean a lot to all of us.
Yeah, we have been working on optimizations and things like that, so we decided, yeah,
Awesome.
not a good
Well,
time.
I have to stop right here and let the vibration finish out. Otherwise, I'd have to do a frame perfect left turn there.
And on top of that, Robot, when he starts walking through poison in a line, if he stops
Yeah, I
too
need to
early,
finish
it'll
the
also
entire
break
thing.
it. Yes.
So those vibration. It's okay to have some vibrations.
Yeah, but as long as
They
I
have to
know
be good
exactly
vibrations.
how long they're going to be. We drinking
Oh, I
coffee
see.
here.
And we are coming up to a boss fight, and
It's gonna be a lot of boss fights here.
yeah, this is almost back
Good
to
to hear a lot of
boss
my
fights.
magic spell casting. Okay, here we go.
Yes.
Cha-cha, lasso, howl, attack. Lasso, attack with some craziness involved. It's attack, miss on Lee. Attack, miss, and hit with the gangster. Miss attack, howl attack. Return 3. Turn 4, it's pretty simple. Attack. Make sure I did that right. Attack, howl, attack. Also, you're gonna notice he's gonna sneeze on us like every single turn. We are already poisoned. Sneezing does nothing, my friend. Turn 5. Defend, attack, miss, howl, attack. Attack, miss. And that was turn 5, yeah. Attack, or we'll miss attack, howl, attack. That is correct. Missing with Anne. And last turn, it's an ADA. Attack, defend, attack. And remember to antidote.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna say it
Pestilence
again.
down.
Already just said it. Antidote. Don't forget.
Yeah,
antidote.
antidote,
It is
antidote. Say it with us, everyone in chat. Antidote.
Antidote.
If
Okay.
RedRobot took even
Antidote.
one step without using antidote first, we would have to start over because that would break RNG.
I would be fine messing up there though. There's still a lot of tower left.
Oh yeah, the hardest is yet to come. So as we get to the next boss, Paul, we know that you've been working very hard on a follow-up game, Madhouse. For everyone in chat, there's a demo on Steam right now. Wishlist Madhouse, try the demo, look forward to it.
Oh,
Derek.
thank you for plugging that.
Of course, our pleasure. And
Yeah,
Derek,
definitely
what are
check
you
out
working
Madhouse.
on?
It's very fun.
Hell yeah!
Thanks.
We want to play it. We're looking forward to it. And Derek, what are you working on next?
I'm still doing a lot of UFO 50 work, and
Really?
other than that, just messing around a little bit, but yeah, nothing that I can share, unfortunately. Still very early, just messing around.
Okay, single heal, and we're
Right
ready to get
now.
into
We
war.
appreciate it.
This is one of the longest fights in the
Yes.
entire game, but most of it's really simple, so that's nice at least. This is honestly one of my favorite fights to do the manipulation for, like when I was brute forcing it, because he does attack raise every single turn, and every time I did a turn wrong, he would do like a bajillion damage. Cha-cha, miss with spy. Howl, attack with gangster. Turn 3, attack, howl, attack. Turn 4, attack, multi-hit. Of course, howl, attack. Turn 5. We need to miss attack. Miss attack. Turn 6. Ah!
This is the
Turn 7, Ama. Turn 8, Da. Turn 9, Dama. Turn 10, also Dama. Turn 11, Dada. And he should be dead.
Excellent. Great job. Great job. Excellent. So
And I felt
you're going to be rolling right into the next 4. I got another question for our devs. So a lot of us love Night Manor. Night Manor is a big fan favorite of UFO 50, and maybe this might be a little more of a Paul question, but we're curious about horror inspiration because Madhouse is coming up again. Wishlist on Steam, and Night Manor. It kind of brought me back to the Mac Venture days. Shadowgate, The Uninvited, Deja Vu. What are some inspirations that came into play to make a game like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would say those games were pretty influential. Like Shadowgate was a big one for me as a kid. And I didn't own Deja Vu or The Uninvited, but they really fascinated me, and I would rent them a lot. So I just have had like a pretty extensive exposure to horror with like all sorts of media, not just games.
Okay,
Battle
here we go.
starting.
This is actually Mr. Blue from Rail Heist. Turn 2, lasso, attack, howl, and one of the few times you'll see Maria do anything besides attack, lasso. Also, this guy has insane evasion, so we're throwing lassos not to tie him up, but actually make it harder for him to move, which is when the evasion check fails. It actually lowers his evasion when that happens. Turn 4, defend, howl, attack. Turn 5, lasso, attack, miss, howl, attack. Yeah, attack, miss only. Turn 6, we use coffee on Umbra, attack, howl, attack. Turn 7, miss, attack, howl, attack. Turn 8, defend, multi-hit, of course, howl attack. Miss, attack, howl attack on turn 9, miss with Anne. And turn 10, going for the kill.
Great job, great job. And
Woo,
we get the
okay.
blue back.
Next
Woo!
fight is the hardest of the tower. Death has insane evasion, not quite as high as the last fight, and he also has the highest health. Has incredibly strong skills, does insane damage. Luckily,
Dangerous
we
fight.
don't really have to deal with all of that, as you'll see in a
It's
moment.
true. It's true.
Reapply our camouflage.
So a real quick game for our devs, Derek and Paul. So everyone's talked about favorite game in UFO 50, but what is the game in the collection that you're most proud of, whether you developed it or not?
For me, it's obviously Night Manor. I'm
Awesome, great
hoping that I
answer.
can never make a game that good again, but I really love John Perry's games. Not to be playing favorites, but I do love his games quite a bit, and that surprised me.
I'm proud of Pilot Quest and the way it works with the rest of the collection. I'm really glad that I got to work on Night Manor with Paul. So
Awesome.
Okay, here we go. We get the payoff for getting Lee over Bull right here. Attack. Study. Gust. Lasso. Attack. Execute. That sounds pretty strong. I wonder what that does. Death just got one shot. Thank you, Death, for the skill.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean that works on bosses?
Yeah.
It works on
nothing in the
bosses.
game that is immune to execute. Yeah.
It's just really unlikely to hit, but really unlikely, I don't know that word.
First time ever.
that
seeing
makes me
that
so
approach.
It's
happy.
two
to see.
words.
Yeah, whatever, 2 words.
Lee
Unlikely.
and
whatever.
become death.
That reminds me, I don't know if you guys have ever played Final Fantasy Legend or Makai Toshi
Yes.
Saga, but you can actually you fight God at the end of that game. Spoilers. But you can use the insta-kill weapon, the chainsaw, on him to kill him inside.
I love it. I love it
That's
when
what
games
that
let you do that because no one ever tries because every boss is supposed to be immune. I love it when you can do that.
That was an important part of this game's design, was just letting everything work, everything stack. You know, I'd much rather risk creating something that is OP, just to avoid like putting barriers on bosses, making them invincible. That's like
casually in this
definitely
game,
like a
Love
pet
it.
peeve of mine,
stacking Anne's like dodge is incredible.
Right,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
You just get your whole party like max evasion.
I did want to add something to a previous point, like about like, you know, when you asked Derek what he was working on next. I will say that like ever since this project came out, I haven't really touched it because I was more of like working on like content and level design and stuff like that. So those guys have really been in the code a lot more than I was, and they continue to this day to work like just tirelessly on this project to like
Wow.
update it and patch it and support it. So I just wanted to let people know that it's like these guys are really hardworking people.
We appreciate
So
it.
is
We-
Paul. I
We
mean,
love it.
Paul is so good at world building and just, you know, taking like a little bit of an idea and just expanding it into something big. So, you know, including Mini and Max, a lot of our biggest games in the collection just wouldn't exist without Paul.
Thank you.
And he
Mini
did,
Max
yeah,
for Game of the Year.
he did a lot of work, also just playtesting the games too.
I have an obsession with creating like content for video games, and sometimes it's to my own detriment because especially with like Madhouse, like I'm a solo developer on that, so like it's a lot. It's like a lot to pull
Oh
off.
yeah.
But I love it, so I just feel like I'm in my element when it comes to just generating a lot of content. So Derek, if you ever want to make something content heavy again, you know who to call.
I presume that's
For
the
sure.
last trotters of the run.
It is the last Trotters of the
That's the
run.
last. And this is going to be a very long trek through the final dungeon.
Yeah,
And,
it's a victory lap though, because we know
it's a
we can
victory
one-shot
lap.
the final boss.
Yeah, spoiler alert, that's gonna happen.
Yeah. Also, really important part of the run. You see a turtle? Shout out to Canvas. Get your thank you Canvas in chat.
Thank you, Canvas.
Thank you, Ken.
So another
Also, the
question
movement
from
of this is not really important. As long as I get the same number of tile movements, it's all
straight
equivalent.
line, yeah.
Can I mention that we had like I designed a boss for each one of those obelisks that you had to beat when you broke
Oh
it.
my gosh,
That
that'd be
actually
pretty
got
fun. I prefer that over this enormous dungeon. That's kind of a slog
It's
to get through.
enormous.
Oh, you still have to do both. I mean, you weren't
No.
getting
This
No,
was a
have
team
mercy.
effort. So, a question about Grimstone and a potentially cut game from UFO 50. So, Grimstone is one of the few RPGs in here We have Divers too, and Valbrace is kind of an RPG. But we're aware that there might have been another game that at one point was to be included in a collection called Godblood that is referenced in Divers and the meta narrative. Is there anything that you can tell us about Godblood and its possible existence or non-existence as a game?
Derek, am I allowed to say anything?
Yes. I'm trying to think through this. I'm pretending that I'm having a discussion in my head with Eric about this.
Yeah, Derek and Eric are like the two bullies that like.
Why do you have to characterize it like that?
They're the arbiters.
Yeah. No,
We're just.
No,
I think I think it's just. I think, yeah. We're all. This is something that we debate about a lot, which is just. I think. How much, we want to say or not say, right? And I think between everyone on the team, it's just everybody. I think everybody is pretty close in terms of how they feel about UFO 50 in general, which is why it worked. But we're all different enough, also, to make it work. Like, if we were all completely the same about how we felt about everything, then I think UFO 50 wouldn't work. But similarly, if we're all too different, right, it wouldn't work, is another way of putting it. So I think on the spectrum of how much to say or not say, I would say Eric and I are, with maybe Eric being the furthest on one side of not wanting to say anything, and then Paul, let's just say, is a little more on the other side.
You said I'm like the kid that the dog at the table comes up for because he knows he's gonna get like scraps.
That's perfect.
But I mean,
as far as God's Blood goes, yeah, I think there is enough like that we've. I think there's enough in UFO 50 itself, and just from kind of like the history of what we've shown over the years of development that I'd say that says most of it.
We appreciate
for the most
it,
part,
and
yeah.
we do appreciate the mystery too. So we appreciate the mystery. I'll just leave it at that. So thank you.
Really long combat here.
Oh.
Attack.
Oh no!
It might work out. It might actually work out.
It might work out.
It works out. Okay.
It works out. Good.
It was equivalent.
And it's
We're
fine.
good. We're good.
It was supposed to be an attack miss, but it was a miss attack miss. The RNG.
It's all fine. It's all fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
Miles gets one shot. Also, I want to say something about how I developed this big and kill. I was struggling really hard to get this 1 in 80 to land, so I actually made a mod that would look ahead in the RNG to find the next 1 in 80 success. And I realized the reason I wasn't finding it is because it basically required you to have a bandage. So I went and bought a bandage. And that's how we can pull this off.
Buy a band-aid to kill God.
Exactly. Bandage, execute, heal, defend. And we're coming up on time.
What?
No!
What went
What?
wrong?
Okay. Something went wrong.
You know what?
I don't
it was
know what.
The attack miss attack. That
Victory lap again, everyone.
All right, no, we'll get
So nice, we do it twice.
We'll do it twice. That's kind of like what RedRobot and Spooty were talking about. Like, it looked like it was fine. We got the execute on Malice. It just failed later.
Yeah, I think that was a great example of how fragile this run is. So,
you know,
I was on purpose, right? It was just like it was an example.
It was
to show.
totally
Definitely did that for example's sake. Also,
this is something I actually appreciate.
And to give us a lovely second tour of the final dungeon.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
We really got to appreciate the architecture.
Great gray tiling everywhere.
There's a lot of red too.
Oh, there's so much red.
It is supposed to be a hellish place, so you know.
Yeah, absolutely, and I like the theme with it. It does work out.
I keep having to refresh because for some reason my stream of watching this keeps freezing. Like the chat still works, but like the video, I don't know if it's because I'm on Discord or in the call or what, but It's no big deal. I'm just like, I really want to see this.
An aspect of a marathon setting like this that I've actually kind of grown to appreciate is when you actually see, like, okay, the RNG is actually that precise to the point where attack miss is correct, miss attack is not. Party House, it can give you hard seats. A Tactics, it can just lock you in that final match forever. I like being able to like see, okay, these games do have teeth. Our runners, RedRobot, are just amazing.
Yeah, for
And-
sure. It's really
So-
cool to hear about how this is all set up, and then
Oh, yeah.
to see it executed. Just, it's very mind blowing.
There's
Red
so much.
Robot and I have been talking about potentially creating like a more human readable document, or even
Yeah,
optimizing
the
this run.
document I'm using right now is it's so specific about the knowledge I have. Like, no one's gonna be able to read this and parse it at all.
He had to teach me how to read it. That's how unique it was. And like there were parts where I was like, this isn't
What does
consistent.
that mean?
That's
Oh yeah,
not what
also
Red
the
Dot
consistency
means,
is pretty
Red
bad.
Robot. Why'd you put use an antidote after the fight before the fight, robot? And like this is something that we know that there are folks out there who want to do this too, and you can definitely
Yeah.
do this too.
'Cause I know RPM wants to do
RPM.
like a full cherry run, but
Yep,
you really need to learn this for that, unless you want
you
to
need to.
lose, 3 or 4 hours playing regular Grimstone.
Absolutely. And talking about the RNG manip with Trotters a little more, RedRobot is doing this on a fresh save file.
Oh,
And
yeah, I
if
forgot
you
about this.
don't
Actually,
have
let
a
me talk
fresh
about this.
save file, go for it.
Uh, When you go from Trotters to the main menu to Grimstone, you actually get RNG rolls from the garden with the buddy in it. So depending on which gifts you have, you'll actually get different RNG rolls there. And in a fresh save file, you get exactly 7 in the 1 second it takes you to get from Trotters to Grimstone. There is a way around this though. If you already have gifts, you can exec trap or whatever the 01 for Barbuda, and go 2 rooms to the left, which will advance RNG 4 times, and then the mushrooms will jump, which will advance RNG, and then one of them will land on top of a higher platform, which will cause it to call RNG earlier. So you'll get exactly 7 calls, and then you can just exec Grim from there, and it works out. So you don't have to have an ultra specific gift set up. Okay. Attack. Execute back. Attack. Defend. Umbra goes first, and then it's attack, miss, miss. There we go. Okay.
Okay. So we should
Be in
get the
business.
execute this time.
It's so cool that all the games are involved.
Even Barbuda. Bandage. Execute. Back. Heal. Wait.
Wait, that's a
Wait,
second
why?
time.
Okay,
That's a
I see
second
what went
time.
wrong. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, Lee is the one who's injured. I'm hoping this will work out. And also, she's injured. Yeah.
Red
Something's
Robot,
not right, but I think this will
This is-
work. What?
So
No way!
In your notes, it shows that the first turn you have TAADD, but for the first turn you tried to execute, right?
No, I didn't.
You did the TAADD for the first turn?
I'm very, very certain I did.
Okay. I'm trying to see what could be different.
I
then.
swear if it's the name somehow. That doesn't make any
Oh,
sense, but
no. The rest of the
that's the
entire run.
the only
worked.
factor I can imagine that's different right now.
Okay, I'm gonna be watching your movement like a hawk. Like, you think if the ballast execute works, that the big and execute would work as well.
Yeah, I have to be doing something wrong. I was doing Tango, right?
I thought so.
Oh, I actually went too far. I'm falling apart.
Is it? Are you doing Trotters 1?
Yeah. Well, that would mess up way earlier if not.
Yeah, that's what you think, right?
Okay. Spooty, I have a mission for you. Go in the VOD, see what I did wrong.
I okay.
Oh, you don't have the notes. Okay.
I don't have the
Scousin,
notes.
do it.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll check the file. We're gonna troubleshoot it live here on Cherry Rush at
Can I
1
ask you
a.m.
something, RedRobot?
EST.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do you feel like this is like the most optimized
Oh, no.
version of this? Okay, so you could improve it even better.
Yeah,
Wow, that's-
absolutely. A lot of the combats are really inefficient, but I just sort of go with what I get the first time, just because I only have so much time. This took me weeks to develop already. Like,
Bet.
I have to just accept it at some point.
Yeah,
But
like
yeah,
we
no,
were
there's a lot
saying-
of room for improvement still.
Like we were saying earlier, if you really, really want to optimize this to its complete endpoint, you got to start aiming for crits, and that's
Yeah,
gonna
and also you
require
can-
complete reroute.
Cut out the trotters in the middle and just go for no safety at all. But even outside of those two things, which are kind of crazy, you can still like squeeze out a lot of time and more efficient combats and slightly better movement. And a lot of people die, which means you have to reorder them, which like them actually dying doesn't really matter, but the reordering takes time.
So, asking a hypothetical question.
Yep.
If you had to fight these bosses honestly, you could probably do that if we don't have RNG manip anymore, right?
Oh, not even a little bit. I am level I'm level 12 and 14. I am way below what I should be at this
Yeah.
point.
I'm trying to remember what I was when I beat the end boss in my casual playthrough. I want to say like low
30 or
30s.
something, yeah.
But
Ah,
if it's a 1 in 80 chance,
What if I just hit it wrong?
it should be 100%
yeah,
chance.
exactly. We just keep trying 80 times, right? Technically,
Oh, when I was doing this, I tried it way, way more than 80 times, but realistically, I could never hit it because I didn't have the bandage.
You equipped the eel skin boots to Umbra.
Yeah,
What's this PO in your notes?
that is a mistake. Ignore
It's
that.
just-
I just typed that on accident.
Okay.
I feel like this whole event, and especially this, is just, I don't know if Derek agrees, but I think that like this has just shown us things about our game that we didn't even know was possible, really, you know?
oh,
Like-
for sure.
I mean, I don't think any of us thought any of this was possible the first time we played these games, but the more you play them, the more you find out.
Well, thank you guys for your like extreme passion and dedication to these games, because it's just, it makes it all worth it for us. I think.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for providing us the tools to express our passion.
So what's the verdict? What happened in the fight?
I can't find it.
No.
Nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong, and I don't like that I can't find it.
I guess just go really slowly in this fight and
Yeah.
I
Equip the
kinda,
eel
yeah.
skin
make sure
to
every
Umbra.
step-
Yeah.
I love how
Attack,
people
miss, miss. Execute the back. Attack, defend. Umbra goes first. It's attack, miss, miss.
Mhm. And for the record, I know for a fact you did that the second time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? And then tango, attack, defend, which you did. As you said, you did do that.
I'm just gonna trust the notes too.
Everybody in chat's blaming John for this.
Nah,
Yeah.
this is me. I must have done two-step. It must have been that, right?
You did
Tango,
tango.
attack, defend, defend. Yeah, this is different than last time, so I think we're in business.
I thought you did Tangle last time, but okay. Let's go with it.
Bandage. Execute back. Heal. Defend. Boom. Okay, there
Yeah,
we go.
let's go.
GG. And that's time.
Wow. That's
Oh my
so
gosh!
cool.
One
Yeah.
thing is like, can you all just stop making this stuff so close and so clutch
You know
every
what?
time? I'm just
Robot.
watching and I'm exhausted. Like,
I'm exhausted after that. I was not expecting a mistake at the literal last possible spot.
RedRobot, I did confirm that you did not do the first turn of Biggin on your second try. You just went straight into.
I just went straight in. Okay, that explains
Yeah,
a
Okay,
lot.
that's,
What did I do the
thought
first
that
try
was it,
then?
but I wasn't sure.
Like when going through the VOD, I saw that turn. I was like, okay, here's the turn. RedRobot said he did.
Yeah,
the
but what
first
happened
one. I
before
didn't
that?
double check you. I should have double checked you.
oh
Great
my
job.
gosh!
Amazing
is,
job,
It's so funny because yeah, it
RedRobot.
was so smooth until the very final boss, and then everything
Everything fell apart.
everything was questioned at that
Uh-huh.
point. That was amazing though. Wow. I had no idea, but Paul and I, yeah, we had no idea what was in store.
Yeah, I wouldn't have dreamed it was that. I thought you were gonna use some like warp exploit or something.
Yeah, it's
To
actually
think
like
of-
technically glitchless, I'm pretty sure. Like the only glitch is just the fact that the game doesn't set the RNG value.
Yeah, that kind of manipulation though was not on our radar at all.
That's like some superhuman level of like just figuring things out that no human being should be able to figure.
It's so strange because it's basically like a real-time task. But like the game, there is no
Yeah.
frame perfect things I have to deal with, so I can actually perform it in real time.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, are there comparable runs like this just in any game that you know of? I mean, the thing is, it really uses UFO 50's unique collection aspect.
Yeah, the fact
to
that
make it work.
TROT-TERS and you go like open Planet Zoldath is so fantastic.
Yeah, I
There
really
are
like.
some weird stuff that our games do, but not to this extent. This is truly one of a kind.
Okay, well I know we're way behind and this went over time, so let's get out of here. That's a pretty good time despite what happened at the end, I guess. Not world record, and the old record's on the old route, but I'll be grinding, trying to get the record with this new route.
Well, you probably had a lot of distractions with us all. I
I
apologize.
was doing okay for a while. Honestly, at the end, I was the one distracting myself.
It also doesn't help that it's 1 a.m. So
Yeah,
I would be
true.
getting tired. I would just fatigue out.
Well,
I think we've all woken up in El Pasaje.
thanks to everyone on the couch. You guys were fantastic.
Our pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
you. That
having
was
us.
an honor to see that.
And honestly, as someone working on a run of all games, thank you for all of the work you've put into making Grimstone so much more approachable.
Yeah, absolutely. I was planning to do all games myself at some point, and I was like, I don't want to do Grimstone. Like, that's a lot of work. And then I did this. It's like, okay, well, I'm the Grimstone guy now. Become what I thought I was seeking to destroy.
May I cut in for a bit?
Absolutely.
Okay, first of all, congratulations on that, frankly, one-of-a-kind incredible run. That was just breathtaking to watch. Thank you to everyone on the couch as well for your great commentary. Thank you, Scousin, for your breakdown of the mechanics. Thank you, Spooty, for your knowledge. And thank you, Derek and Paul, for everything, pretty much.
Thank you all. Yeah, that commentary was great too.
I'd like to
Thanks
read
for
out a
vid-
couple... Oh, sorry,
Sorry.
go on.
No, sorry, that's it.
Thank you. Just to read out a couple of donations we got all throughout that. We've got $5 from Grizz. They say, I hope music goes under the train on shifting gears, Meowdy. And I wanted... I think Meowdy is real appropriate. We've got $10 from Keeney, who says, Rail Heist mention, get that incentive. And I have great news for you on that. We did get the Rail Heist incentive. You guys are going to see the stars shaken up there.
Yo, Rail Heist mentioned.
Yay.
And the one last donation we got was for $23 from Guy, Rail Heist supporter. And the Grimstone run was good. GG. Indeed. Thank you all for donating and sticking with us through that incredible run. In just a moment. Oh, yes. And pardon me. I'm getting my thoughts in order. I'm about to sign off and hand everything over to Matt. But just as another bit of info, the news for tonight will be moved for tomorrow. And next up, we've got Bug Hunter, so please stick around.